Howdy folks, today I am going to be showing you how to clean most any semi-automatic pistol, but for this video I'm going to be using my Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0. It's a 9mm. First, what we're going to start with is opening the gun and making sure it's unloaded. Disassembly on this gun is pretty simple. What you'll do is lock the slide back, and there's a takedown lever right here. We're going to rotate that takedown lever down. What you got two options. What you can do is there's a lever inside of here. I'm going to try to point to you. It's a little yellow lever right there. Let me get a flashlight. There's a little yellow lever in there. And that actually folds down. You can do that if you're terrified of dry firing your gun, but because I'm not, I am just going to send the slide forward and pull the trigger, and the slide comes right off. Now, in addition to the gun you're seeing, I'm going to show you guys what I'll be using to clean the gun today. Alright, so to start the cleaning today, we've got just some pretty simple materials. Nothing is too specialized. First, I've just got an old white t-shirt that I use and probably change out once every couple of years to wipe stuff down with. Next, I've got gloves. You don't have to use gloves most of the time, but I've just gotten the habit of doing it, so I use gloves now. These are just cheap black gloves. I think I got them from Amazon. Blue shop towels, these are great. I use these in lieu of patches, and you'll see why later. I use Breakthrough Clean. It's really, really good stuff, and it doesn't have any smell or odor, and it works damn good. I use an old toothbrush. I've used this one for the past couple of years. And then I use a nylon cleaning brush with a push rod. This is actually from a Glock factory case, so if you get a Glock handgun, you're going to get one of these, and this is what I use. So let's get started. All right, so what I like to do is divide this into two sections. We've got our frame here, which usually doesn't get too dirty on most Glocks and most Smith & Wessons, most any semi-automatic handgun. The frame usually doesn't get too caked. This is the part that you really want to focus on cleaning. This is your slide. So what I'll be doing is I'll be disassembling this and cleaning this first, and then we'll go over and just kind of wipe this one out as need be. So you'll first start by removing the recoil spring assembly. This one's captive, which means the spring is captured inside of the guide rod. It's one assembly. You probably could take this apart some way, but I'm not going to research how to do that, and I don't have any desire to do that because it's just a pain in the butt to put it back together. So throw it out to the side. Next, we just take our barrel out of the slide. No big deal. It's just as easy as it looks. Not rocket science. How I usually start these is I take my solvent and I just spray things down. So starting, we'll just go on the slide. I spray down all the internal parts, including this part right here. This is usually the most caked up part with carbon from the back of your bullet back of your cartridge resting against that firewall there. And yeah, we'll let that soak. And then for the barrel, we'll just spray a couple on the inside and then once on the outside and let it sit. Grab our toothbrush and scrub. This is going to get really boring. Now, also, while I'm doing this, I just kind of want to stress, this isn't by any means a detailed clean, right? We're not going to really use this for long-term storage. This is a daily carry gun for me, so I keep routinely cleaning it just like this, and I have since I've owned this gun and most of my other Glocks, or my other guns that happen to be Glocks, right? So your mileage may vary, and if you don't want to clean your gun that way, that's fine. I'm just showing you how I clean mine. Now with this guy, it's a little bit different, and I just realized I'm a total hypocrite, and I'm not even using the gloves that I said that you needed. Let's go and put those on. Okay, so we're back with the gloves, now that I'm, again, not being a total hypocrite. And what we'll do is we'll take our brush and just kind of scrub inside the barrel now that we've let the solvent sit for a while. So I'll push it through. Some people say to never, ever, ever, ever push it through and pull it through the same side, and they want you to push it through, unscrew this. They want you to do this. They want you to push it through and then take this out and then reattach that. I find that that's just too much for me, and because this isn't a copper bore brush, it's just a nylon bore brush, I don't think I'm going to cause any damage to the inside of the grooves on the rifling. If you think I am, then more power to you, but I think I'm good. So I'm going to keep doing it this way, and you by no means have to. So scrub that out pretty good. I'll detach this because I'm going to be using this feature like a needle eye, and I'll show you why in a second. Get our toothbrush and just scrub the outside here. Now, usually on barrels, what you're focusing on is pretty much where crap builds up, and where it mostly builds up is right here on the chamber. This one's actually relatively clean. I haven't shot this recently, so I'm just doing this to show you the video. But usually you'll get carbon caked up on the feed ramp here. This one's polished from the factory actually really nicely. So I spent an extra amount of time actually spraying this and then scrubbing it down with a toothbrush. The toothbrush usually won't get it all off. So what I'll need to do is take our shop towels and rip off a piece and go to work on it manually, just kind of using my finger here to scrub down on it. So that's what I'll do sometimes, but again, this one's pretty good, and as evidenced, yeah, it needed to be cleaned a little bit, but it wasn't too dirty to begin with. So you also notice that I don't really go on the outside of the gun, the outside of the slide when I'm cleaning it. I find that they don't usually get too dirty except for the muzzle area, so I guess I can eat my words here, and I'll just kind of scrub this down. But usually what you're trying to do with solvents is you're just trying to clean up carbon. You're just trying to clean up gunpowder residue, and that usually accumulates on the inside and on the muzzle, not so much on the outside here. I'll show you what we'll do with this a little bit later. So now that we've got everything soaked and scrubbed slightly, we'll just take that shop towel and we'll go on the inside and start wiping everything down. That solvent has had a chance to kind of work in and soak up some of the crap that's built up inside. So we'll just kind of go through here and just start wiping things down. As this gets too dirty, we'll just move to a different part. So that's the cool thing I like about these shop towels. They're pretty versatile, and they're really inexpensive, and you don't have to keep reusing a t-shirt or something like this. Now the t-shirt you see beneath, that's just there to prevent it from getting all over my desk, and by it I mean the crap that we clean off our gun. So you'll see me kind of bending this paper towel in weird fashions. That's so I can get into tight spaces like this right here. If we look close here, there's a kind of a gap there, and that's really tight to get in. So you'll want to bend your paper towel and just wipe that off, because I hate leaving my gun wet with solvent. It just seems like it probably would collect more crap the more I shoot the gun. So again, just going through here, drying stuff off. Really boring, sorry. Same thing now with the outside of the barrel. We'll just wrap it up and get stuff off on the outside, make sure it's dry. I'm not saying you're going to assemble your gun dry like this, because that's why we have lubricant, and I'll show what to do later. Now, really quick, if you might be wondering, there are some products out there that are multifaceted, right? So they do solvent and lubricant all in one. I don't like that. I feel like if you can buy specialty products, for instance, the specialty product on this is to remove crap from your gun, and it does a damn good job at it, versus, and then the lubricant itself, which does only one job, and that's lubricant. I feel like if you can buy specialty products like that where they have a designated purpose, it's a lot better than buying a compromised product that's kind of like all in one. Anyways, now we want to clean the inside of the barrel, or at least get the crap out of it. So what we'll do is we'll just actually rip off a corner of the shop towel. These are pretty good at getting stuff. And I have unlimited, well, not unlimited, but I have a lot more from this one piece of shop towel than I do from buying those cotton patches that seem to cost a ton of money. And these work good enough. So again, I'm just going to wipe on the inside here. And same thing applies. I'm not going to push it through and then take it off. That's just goofy to me. So there's some stuff on there. In fact, what will probably be a better idea is if we ripped off a corner here and then we sprayed it with solvent. And then get it back on the rod here and send it through. Now the only disadvantage about these compared to those cotton pre-done rods is the fact that this can tear off in your barrel, and it can kind of be a pain in the butt to get out. Whereas if you have one of those cotton ones, they actually pretty much stay together always. But again, once you get the hang of it, depending on the size of your barrel, will depend on how much of a sheet you should be tearing. And again, we've got some more stuff out of there. So I'm not going to be storing this long term. I'm not saying that you don't have to thoroughly clean your gun, but this is seriously how I do it. And I'm under no pressure to get this stored for 10,000 years, right? Because I'll probably be shooting this again next week. If you're going to store your gun, I recommend you do this as many times as you can until the rags always come out completely clean, like the color they were when you put them in. But I'm not going to do that. This is just going to be clean enough for me. And yeah, oops, sorry about that. All right. All right, so that's done. All right, so now everything's pretty much dry. The slide's dry, the barrel's dry. We'll move on to the frame. With the frame, where you're gonna get most of your dirt and buildup is back here by the trigger mechanism, or the trigger firing mechanism. Sorry, trigger is here. Firing mechanism is back here. So by the firing mechanism, you also get some up here by your locking block. In case you don't know, your locking block is just simply where your barrel sits. And while the slide is cycling back and forth, your barrel can't go anywhere. So yeah, so what we'll do, same thing applies. I will not spray solvent directly in here. All I'm going to do is take my shop towel and spray it once, and then just wipe things down as I see them. So I'll wipe down the rails, I'll wipe down the locking block, I'll kind of try to go inside there and just wipe out what I can. Sorry for bumping this again. And yeah, we'll just wipe it clean with a towel. The reason I'm not going to spray anything in here is because if I do that, I'm likely to get particles of this solvent that just seep down and collect, and I'm not sure if that stuff dries by itself or not, but it's not a risk I'm willing to take with a gun I want to keep for a long time. So yeah, I just wipe things down, and you can get Q-tips if you want. That'll probably be super helpful. Sometimes I will take Q-tips, but I don't consider it a normal part of the regiment for this gun. And yeah, we've wiped off all that stuff. And then we'll just go back through on a dry section and just kind of go once more through everything. All right, so I'm pretty happy with this as of right now. Again, this is good enough for me. If you want to take your time and grab a Q-tip, then more power to you, but I'm not going to do that here. So now what we have to do is lubricate it since the gun's completely dry. The gun will probably run just fine with metal on metal, but again, I'm not going to do that. So what I'll be using here, as I showed earlier, is this stuff. I hate the idea of paying like $20 or $30 for a can of specialized lubricant. They can get pretty expensive out there. I think I bought this at AutoZone like 4 years ago, and literally this is how much I've gone through, and this stuff works so good. You don't have to use it, and that's fine. I know it kind of doesn't really look the most appealing, but this stuff really works. I swear by it. I use it on all my guns. And so I'm not going to change anything here. I'm going to keep using it. So usually I don't even need this tub. I just use what's left on the cap. So set this over to the side here. And what I'll usually start with is the slide. So I'll just take a little bit on my pinky here. And that's actually probably too much. Now again, your mileage may vary. You put as much lubricant as you do or don't want. That's fine, but this amount right here is good enough for me. So I'm just going to stick my pinky in there and rub it on the inside of the slide. Now, when you apply lubricant, what you're doing is you're basically trying to lubricate the spots on the gun that have the most metal on metal contact, right? So for this instance, where the black factory finish is wearing off and it's turning silver, that's where there's the most metal on metal contact. So that's where I'm going to apply the lubricant. Also, barrels tend to rub on the inside of the end of the slide here. Even though I don't see a lot of wear necessarily on this one, I'm still going to do it because if you look on the barrel, you'll see that it's starting to wear, and the only way that the barrel can wear in that spot is if it rubs back and forth on the inside of that. So for the slide, that's pretty much it. You can apply inside of the rails. I'm not going to do that. I'll show you why. We can apply that more easily by just sending it right onto these rails here on the frame. So for the barrel, what we'll do is just get some more lubricant here. That's good. So just that much. And then I'm just going to apply it all around the barrel. It's a relatively light sheen. I don't think it's necessarily caked on there. So that's pretty much what we're looking at. I missed a spot right here. Okay, so that's the end of the barrel. And then I'm also going to get the hood of the barrel, and that rubs against the top of the slide. Now I know we already lubricated that in the slide, but a little more isn't going to hurt. So I'll just put some right here. Okay. Now, there are some places that say that you should lubricate the locking lug because that's the part that has metal on metal contact with the locking block inside of the frame. I will apply a little bit directly on it with the frame. I'm not going to send it up here in the barrel. So also you probably see some metal wear right here. That is from the recoil spring. And I'm not going to put lube here because I don't want any chance of this recoil spring slipping while it's held up on the barrel. So we'll leave that dry. This is good to go. What we'll do now is we will just take our barrel and slide it on into the frame. And then if you want, you can just push it here and you can feel it's lubricated. Now, while I did this, I kind of just remembered that this guy's a little bit shiny. So I'll just take a little bit of lube or grease here, and then I will just rub it along the slide here. Maybe a little bit on the other side, no big deal. And then put it back in one more time. All right, so that's all done. And then on the frame, we are going to lubricate these rails. Where you see the black part, or where you see the black factory coating wearing down to silver, or what's the bare metal underneath essentially, that's where there's wear, so that's where we're going to apply grease. So a little bit here, a little bit there, some on the back, and we're done. Okay, and then I'll keep bumping this darn thing, and I'll bump some right here on the locking block, and then that's it. I'll take a clean pad. I was using my pinky for pretty much all of this, and I'll just kind of dab it so it's not accumulating, because here's the catch with extra oil or grease. The more surplus you have that you don't need is more likely to catch particulates such as dirt or more carbon as you shoot the gun, and I don't want that if I can avoid it. So yeah, last thing we'll do is go ahead and put our recoil spring assembly back in. Got that on the first lug, and it goes in just fine. I'm actually going to take these off now because I'm pretty much done with most of the crap chemicals. And then now we will slide it on. Now on the M&P, sometimes the slide stop will get stuck up like that, and then the slide won't go on. Don't worry about it. Just push it down. Now it goes on. We will lock it back like that, and then slide our takedown lever back. Send the slide forward. Make sure it's clear, safe direction, and kapoo. Checking it. Trigger cycles, and it resets fine, so we have a clean gun. Topping this last part off, what I'll usually do is just wipe down the outside with the same cloth I use to clean it on. So I'll just do this. And then there'll usually be some of the lube or the grease sitting on the top of the hood, so I'll just wipe that off because it's already on the inside. And that's about it. All right, so yeah, this guy is ready to go now, and yeah, thanks for watching. Have a good day.